Hello, citizenship tutors. Thank you so much for taking the time to observe this brief demonstration lesson. For those of you who have not previously tutored with our citizenship tutoring program, the following video, which will be about 5 minutes long, will serve as a good example of a very condensed version of what you'll be doing with your students from 2 to 3 o'clock on our citizenship tutoring program Sundays. My name is Megan. My demonstration student today is Amanda.
Hello.
And we will be acting out what a very brief tutoring session could look like. With the citizenship tutoring program, there are 2 components to your hour that you have with your student. The first component is a brief assessment of the material that was covered the previous week. These assessments will be at International House hard copy, as opposed to the materials for tutor hour, which you are required to print and bring out on your own. However, in the event that you completely forget to bring the tutor materials, we usually have a few copies on hand, but please try to print your own. So first, with your student, what you would want to do in your session is go through the brief assessment. This is basically a condensed version of the naturalization evaluation that you are helping prepare your student for when they ultimately take their test to become a citizen. It has 3 categories: reading, writing, and civics, and the material it covers is what your student learned last week in class. The first category is reading. I will ask Amanda to read out both of these sentences. Because we have a short amount of time, I'm only going to ask her to read one. As with this assessment, I cannot help Amanda. She has to answer herself. However, with the reading section, if she struggles with a certain word, once she has completed that section, we will go back to that word and practice reading it out loud. So, here we go. Amanda, could you read me sentence number 1?
Okay. What is the capital of the United States?
Very good, very good. And out of curiosity, do you know what is the capital of the United States?
Washington.
Very good, very good. Great. So Amanda did not have a word that she struggled with. So, for example, if she had struggled with pronouncing United States, she and I would go over that a little more to make sure that she's familiar with that. The next section is writing. Again, on this brief assessment, there are 2 sentences that I will dictate to Amanda and ask her to write down. When I dictate the sentence, I cannot pause, just as an immigration officer would not pause. I read it to her 2 times. While she's being assessed, you cannot help her. However, once she is done writing, you can go back through and work on the sentences together. Amanda, I'm going to read this sentence to you, and I need you to write down what you hear. Thank you. Ready?
Yes.
Mexico is south of the United States. I'll read it one more time. Mexico is south of the United States. Make sure that you give your students sufficient time to complete the writing and do not put pressure on them to finish faster. Okay, thank you. So, with this, Amanda definitely spelled Mexico right, but we would work on wanting to write out the full, not abbreviation for US, South, and is. So if you were her tutor, you would then say, good job, and go through again the words that were more of a struggle for Amanda to complete. Wonderful. The next section covers civics questions that are drawn from the material that was covered in class the previous week. With these, again, you cannot assist your student in answering them, Just mark which ones they get right and which ones they get wrong, and once you're done with this section, go back and review these answers. You can also find them in the student's textbook if they need an additional visual. Amanda, what ocean is on the west coast of the United States?
The west?
The west coast.
Are we on the west coast?
We are on the east coast.
The Pacific.
Very good. Name one state that borders Canada.
Illinois?
Very close. There's a lot of states in that area, but not Illinois. But let's look, and we'll get our map to find states that are next to Canada. All right. So, Amanda demonstrated that she was able to comprehend and respond to these sentences. When we were done with the assessment, I would score out of 2, 2, and 11 what Amanda's ultimate product was, and then I would make sure that this is returned to the program coordinator for citizenship tutoring so that we can track Amanda's progress from week to week. So that is how you'll always start out your tutoring sessions, is with the assessment. Next, you want to go to the tutor hour materials, which are preparing the student for what they are going to learn during the class session. Just like the assessment, there are a few different categories: reading, writing, speaking, and civics. Because you've already seen how we would work on reading and writing, as well as civics, I'm not going to go through those again, but the speaking questions, the N400 questions, may require a little bit of context. Each week, we put enough N400 questions on the tutor hour that ideally, by the end of a 6-week session, the student would have been exposed to the fairly advanced vocabulary in these N400 questions. As you are asking the student these N400 questions, you don't just want them to say yes or no. We highlight in red words that will be extra tricky. That means that we want you to work on explaining those words to your student. So as we go through, you'll want to ask the question, see how your student responds, and talk through the vocabulary in that particular sentence. Amanda, have you ever registered to vote in any federal, state, or local election in the United States?
I register for class.
Okay, so you've registered for class before. To you, what does it mean to register?
I put my name.
Very good. Where did you put your name?
On the form to turn in.
Perfect. So just like you registered for class, when we want to vote for our government in the United States, we have to put our name and our address and other
No.
Yeah. Good. So you have not done that. That is important because until you are a citizen, you are not allowed to vote.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Very good. So that goes through how you would cover the N400 questions. Some days you may not get through all of the tutor hour materials. Some days you may not get through all of the assessment material, depending on the English level and on the memory of your student. That is okay. You are still making a difference and assisting them in reviewing for the naturalization exam. As always, if you have any questions, you can call International House or send me an email to get in touch and to discuss these materials further. Thank you for watching.